And that's, I think, I talk about the 5 pillars of well-being is being active, being present, and connection, and giving, and also learning. So here in this one space, you've been able to very authentically and very gently included all these elements of well-being in a bundle of colour and music and smiles. So we've been able to make really awesome connections. And sometimes what I have absolutely loved is there is no distinguishing between a young class, an old class. I just did a class, and there's mum and bubby up there dancing, and so it's creating that true family where we're bringing children into a place where you're welcome, and that they will come through, maybe even enjoying the dance, but just being able to feel this is a safe place that I can be in, and we all support each other. It's a beautiful.
That was like really important for me because being a mother, like I felt so alienated from lots of activities, and when I first had kids, the community I was in, I just brought the kids anyway. I didn't really care, but there was no other kids around for them to interact and play, and I was always the one with the kid. And so, and it was just a bit alienating, but like something that I just always want to make sure that there's an opportunity for mums and kids, especially in the morning classes. The nighttime classes are crazy. Like they're not the most ideal space because we really put the music up really loud, and there's lights and heaps of people everywhere. But the morning classes are really sacred because I want to be able, when a mum can't get a babysitter or their lifestyle is that they're home with the kids all the time, they can come in, put them in the corner, they can pick them up, the kids can cry, the kids can run around, and they can just be kids without the mums feeling guilty and like, oh, I'm sorry, you're like, no, when the music is on, them crying is not going to make a difference.
No.
And just to be accepted, because
that's right.
Like here on the Sunshine Coast, I find it really hard to go out with my kids and have a fun time with like live music and stuff. And in Brazil, I could go out with my kids all the time.
Really?
Yeah, because it's such a street culture. And everyone's on the street, and there's lots of other kids, especially in the northeast. Like in Bahia, I had such a great experience having children traveling there with me, because everywhere I went, there was always going to be some kids playing around.
New friends, haven't they yet? Yeah.
And so I'd really like to create more of those opportunities here. At Tropicalia.
And how could we then take that concept, which I think is an amazing one, how could we then take that as a community and as mums, or people who have friends who are mums, or people who want to be mums, how can we then extend that to outside of here and incorporate it into our culture?
Create more opportunities where families or mums and kids can enjoy. Have, like, every cafe on the Sunshine Coast needs to have a kids corner with a bucket of toys for kids to, that's just got to be a given. And also, but it's also an attitudinal thing, because you need to soothe mamas. Yes, you can breastfeed here. If you can let the child cry, that's okay. Come to Chichia, pick up another person's child and give them a cuddle and allow that to happen, and tell them that's okay. You can be yourself here. If you need privacy, or you need someone to help you out, like, allow that to happen. So I think it's an attitudinal thing, and we just gotta get more mums and bubs and kids, and we just need to all come together.
And I 100% agree, because there's been times that I suffered a bit from postnatal depression, and it was so nice just to have someone, and she was a midwife. We actually built a house for her. She was our neighbour, and she just came and she said, it's okay, you go, I got this. And I just was so tired and just needed someone to just be there. I didn't even have the energy to get out of the house, and I think I slept for 12 hours. She didn't go to work the next day. She stayed and she slept with my baby. And I knew that she was in safe hands. And our kids are her own.
Wow, she knew it well. She probably really liked it.
And she loved it. And that's what I've always said is, you never know what gift you're going to give to someone by connecting with them. Yeah. So that's what the amazing thing about connection is making these connections. Sometimes you don't know what gift you're going to give by allowing someone to hold that little baby just for a moment, and just to have that beautiful nurturing sensation, or for someone to just say, would you like to come sit with us? It's an amazing, like, gifts don't have to be, you know, treasures. They can just be, I see you, or I hear you, and I'm here. And I think that's you're right, we just need to open up and say, I see you, I hear you, and join if you wish, or
and like, I think obviously, like, you know, dance classes and this kind of Latin community is very warm, and it's like in that kind of culture, it's a given. Like a lot of aunties and grandmothers are very involved in raising kids, and there's always someone around. And so I hope to develop this more and more here. You know, we'll get there. It's just you know, there's lots of other priorities and things like that. But it would be a dream for me to, like, come in on a Thursday morning, see heaps of kids in the class, after class, see them running around down here, everyone eating and drinking and, you know, having fun together before they have to go and do their stuff in their day. But just to know that they can come here and they're totally welcome. So that's
pretty unique and pretty special. And very addictive.
And that's also, like, because coming to a dance class, I think a lot of people think, like, oh, okay, I'm going to go and I'm going to work out and learn something. But we talk about so much stuff, you know, like I always try to make a point to talk about some kind of topic in class, or bring something up, or open the space to be like, you know, let's talk about the fat on our legs, let's jiggle heaps, let's, you know, move our bodies, or let's talk about sex, let's talk about, you know, kids, or if the postnatal depression, now that we've got heaps of mums in that class, I will definitely bring that up, because postnatal depression was a huge part of my journey. Huge, like undiagnosed. I don't even think of it. When someone was like, I think you've got postnatal depression, I'm like, no, I'm just tired. But tiredness is the preliminary symptom of starting to get, you know, your body is going through depression. So I think dance class, and especially, like, you know, those morning classes where there's heaps of mums, or there's mums in every class. But just starting to bring up those topics and conversations, and body esteem and self-esteem, and kids and men and all of that. That is all part of the dance class, because we've got to talk about our life when we're moving our body in this day and age and life.
And it's amazing too, because it's one of those things where when I came in, my back was shot, my hips weren't moving, my tummy wasn't what I wanted to be. It wasn't this. I had all the negative lists, and over time it's okay. My body has strengthened, and I've given it grace, and I've given it space to do what it needs to do when it needs to do it, and then I push it a little bit more, and it's grown, and it's just been able to be given a space where my body and my mind can thrive and just accept where I am, and it's not it's for everyone. And I brought a friend, and she's in that journey I was a few months ago, and it's beautiful, and it's just, I think it's one of those things, and this is my big passion, is about talking about well-being in whatever framework you like. But I think it's having these conversations, checking in with people, you know, are you okay? You know, and that it's okay to do you, whatever that is.
And like you said, like, being graceful is something that we need to learn because it's not part of our society's structure to deal with things gracefully and deal with the changes of our bodies with like kindness and grace. And that's like for my personal journey with Latin and Brazilian culture, like the Brazilian culture gave me this gateway and this permission.
I love that word.
To like, you have this body, you do you go, you move in your way, you find your individuality, you find your self-expression. It doesn't have to look the same as the person next to you, but it's the permission. Go, rebolar your hips, put your hips around in a circle, go down, go up, shake them to the side. And like that permission was such a key, like, to open self-expression.
That's right.
And to see like the person next to you doing it and like, wow, you look totally different to me, your body has a different composition, but you are reveling in this as much as me, and we're all in the same thing together. The person to the other side has got a different structure and moves in a different way, but we're all doing this together and everything is okay.
And it looks just fine.
Exactly.
Just fine.
It's beautiful. Just to see someone just owning it and like getting into their zone is just, it's the most beautiful thing.
And it really is one of my favorite memories. It's from when I danced many years ago, and the Cuban ballet was in, and there was an elderly couple there, and so you had these absolutely magnificent dancers in the background they were doing, I think it was samba, and then you had these two elderly people, forehead to forehead, and they were just doing them. They weren't caught up in trying to compete with these magnificently trained dancers with legs to the ceiling. And it was absolutely stunning, and it's still one of my favorite memories of just you do you, and their energy and their love for the music and their love for them. I don't know if they're a couple or not, but there was just so much joy and acceptance in that moment, and it was beautiful to see the contrast of the athleticism and the connection between, so in the same song right in front of you. It was absolutely the most amazing experience, and that was just at a casual dance space, you know?
Yeah, and that is a really good example of South American culture, because dance is part of the lifestyle, and it doesn't have an expiry date. You can, be 70, 80, 90 until forever dancing and enjoying something exactly the same way as someone who is 5, 10, 15, any space. And that's really unique, because here, like, where are the opportunities where generations cross? We don't really have it unless you go to a family birthday party or something like that.
Structured events.
Yeah, structured events.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's just something really unique about South American dance or Latin dance, is that anyone can do it. We have to take away this mind frame of it being a competition, or who can do the craziest sequence. That's part of it, because that's part of self-expression.
That's right.
But that's not the essence of dance. The essence of dancing is connecting, making sure that the other person is having a good time. You're having a good time. There's going to be, like I say to my students, if you are an older person and you go and dance with a younger person who reminds you, let's say, of your daughter or your son, you're not going to dance with them in a sensual way. You're going to dance to make them have fun.
That's
just
right.
like you would if I was to dance with my little son. I wouldn't bring him in close and do a bunch of body rolls and stuff. I would make it so fun. So that's the mindset we need to go in, that we're serving the other person. We want to make sure
there's the gift.
There's the gift.
The gift in dance. Yeah.
We want to make sure we're all having a great time, that no one feels uncomfortable, because Latin dance has this very sensualized side, which is evident, which is okay, because it's a representation of society. I was going to dance with a hot man. I want to dance with him close.
Different type of connection.
Exactly. So it has the whole spectrum, and that needs to be respected and talked about more.
Demystified, I think.
Yeah, and educated.
Yeah.